Hey everybody, it's Adina here from Immigrant Finance. How are you doing? In today's episode, I'm going to talk you all through a really fun, amazing strategy to get clear on your financial goals. Now, this is actually part of one of the lessons in Immigrant Finance School that normally is part of our paid service. However, it is so incredibly valuable to get clear on your goals and use this tool that I really want to share it with our whole community to make sure you all can take advantage of this and know the power that you have when it comes to planning your own financial goals and being really strategic about picking which ones you focus on. Now, a quick overview on why is it important to spend some time thinking about your financial goals and getting clear on them. Well, this is because we all have a million financial goals, right? So many of us want to buy a home, buy a nice new car, be able to be comfortable in retirement, be able to take our family on vacation, be able to enjoy nice meals out with our family and friends without having to feel guilty about it or worrying about how we're going to pay it, right? Many of us want to be investing in the stock market and growing our money, starting businesses, right? The list goes on and on. There's so many exciting financial goals out there. And for many people I speak to in our community, having financial goals is not the issue. Many people, if not everyone I've ever spoken to in our community, has that sense of what they want and what they want their life to look like. The challenge that comes in the way that comes up for people is how to implement those financial goals and turn them into reality. That's where financial planning comes in. That's where having a budget driven by your goals comes in, so that it's not just some idea you would love to have, but actually something that happens. And it all starts with your financial goals, because again, if we're not clear on what those are, it's really hard to move them forward. If we have too many financial goals, it's really hard to move them forward. So I always recommend with our students to not only take time to get super clear on what all your financial goals are, and we're going to talk through that a little bit in today's episode, but also narrowing them down to the top 2 or 3 goals, because when we have more than that, they tend to not really happen. Or even if you're putting money towards several financial goals, if there's more than 2 or 3, it's usually not going to be a significant amount of money for all of those to really make them happen and build momentum if you have more than 3 that you're working with at a time. And the reason I wanted to talk about this today is, well, this is something that comes up all the time with our students, and it's often what we start with. So I'm always talking to our students about planning their financial goals and narrowing them down. But also it's something that we have been turning back to, because this skill of getting clear on your financial goals and then narrowing them down, it's a skill that you turn back to and get to use again and again throughout your life as life changes, because your financial goals don't stay the same. They actually evolve with time and they change with you based on how you're growing as a person, how your family's growing, how your opportunities are growing, how your income grows, how your investments grow. You get to have different goals, and you get to make different decisions around them and strategize around them, which is super exciting. So I was going to tell a little bit of a story of how our goals have been changing and how we've turned back to this exercise. And I'm actually going to be doing it all with you all right after I finish this recording. I'm going to go through and do the exercise myself, and I hope you do the same as well. I would really encourage you to. It's so powerful. And then I will walk you through one of the worksheets that we have from the goal-driven budgeting module in Immigrant Finance School that I wanted to share a sneak peek with our whole community and audience in case it can be helpful and be of service to anybody. So first, why are we turning back to our goals? Why is this something that personally Mao and I are thinking about right now and looking into? Well, like I said, our goals change all the time as you grow. And we just went through a huge, how do you call it? Huge financial experience, journey, transformation, up and down and all of that. I can't even find the right word to describe what it was. recently, which was about selling our first home and buying our next home, and the whole process for that, and the impacts on our budget, and the impacts on our goals, the impacts on our expenses. It was quite a roller coaster. This is not the first time we've gone through a journey like this. I would say we have many, many times in different financial experiences we've had and different levels we've gone in with our financial planning. The deeper and deeper we've gone into this work and seen the results and outcomes that happen in our lives when we do it. This stuff happened. So it was our most recent crazy journey with this. The first journey ever where we had this was when really we first started learning about personal finance, when Mao had recently immigrated to the country in 2013. We had no idea how to manage money. We were living paycheck to paycheck, barely able to pay our bills, going into debt, not being able to really afford going out with our friends, building our community, all that. So budgeting was the first tool we started learning about with financial planning and personal finance. And it was very life-changing what that did for us, of doing this work we're going to be talking about today, of just starting to get clear on our goals, getting clear on our expenses, getting clear on how we want to spend money, and starting to build that into our lifestyle and our plans. The most recent one, though, was, like I said, with us selling our first home and buying our next home. So what was going on with that is, I talked about in a prior episode you may have heard, but we essentially were not anticipating that it was going to take longer than we had expected to sell our first home. So we had almost a 4-month period where we were really kind of cash strapped, waiting for that sale to go through after we had bought our first home, after we had bought our second home. So our second home is really, like, at the moment, our dream home. It was the bigger home we wanted for our family. It was the first time we now have a backyard. We wanted for our daughter to be able to run around. We have some more space. We moved further out so that we could have more space and have more of a lifestyle and home that we wanted. Our mortgage is higher, the expenses are higher, right? All of that. And we were strategizing around making that all happen based on assuming the first home would sell, and using some of that money. And it took about 4 months for the whole process. So that was really, really challenging and threw us in a loop. We had to get really creative about managing our money, about leveraging credit, right, responsibly, about all of these things. And it definitely has shifted our financial goals. And then recently we finally did sell and have the closing for our first home. So actually, at the time of this recording, we are expecting tomorrow or the day after to all of a sudden get like a lot of cash back that we had been thinking we would have had 4 months ago about. So that is going to be really interesting for us to now redo the budgeting, redo the assessment of our financial goals to decide about where we want that money to go. So this is a chart for those of you watching on video on YouTube or Facebook. This is a chart from the Immigrant Finance School program in our budgeting module, where we help you get clear on your financial goals as one piece of setting up your budget. And you can see I have this chart organized by different timelines. So it's about looking at what your financial goals are for this month, the next 6 months, the next 5 years, the next 10 years. So essentially looking at different time periods, what your financial goals are. And the first exercise you want to do around this is like not limit yourself. Write down every goal you can think of. Because if you try to limit yourself, you may miss some stuff that's really important, or you may miss some goals that are actually more important, that are more expansive, that are more abundant, that may be more in alignment with actually building wealth, right? So don't hold yourself back. Write down everything you can think of. And the reason I say that is often when we are, just limiting ourselves to a few at first, it can just feel like the things we have to put money toward that we don't necessarily want to, that we're not excited about. So maybe paying off some debt, paying off a car loan, building that emergency fund, whatever it is. Those aren't things, though, that are going to help you build wealth. So really push yourself to think about all the goals you can possibly think of, including the ones that can actually help you build wealth, things that are more related to investments, whether investing in yourself, in the stock market, in real estate, and starting a business, right? Goals around increasing income, negotiating salary, starting a business, all of that. Write down everything. And then let yourself look at that list of everything you wrote and really spend some time to think about what feels good, what is like time sensitive. So you want to look, if there's something coming up in the short term, for example, your car is about to break down and you need your car to get to work to make money, within the next 6 months, you're going to have to buy a new car. That's probably going to be one that has to be in your top 2 to 3 goals. But try to find some space to also include something abundant and expansive in those goals. It's going to be helping you build wealth for the future, not just paying off things now or doing things you have to do now. And take some time to really try to narrow it down to like your top 5, including some of those expansive, abundant goals. And then after that, really pick the top 2 or 3. Don't go beyond 2 or 3, and get clear about what those top 2 to 3 are. And that's going to help you get clarity on your financial goals, which everything with personal finance planning really starts with that. Like, how can we talk about investing or starting a business or paying off debt or building savings or building your credit score if we don't know what really are your top 2 to 3 goals? And it's going to be different for everyone because personal finance is personal. And you are the one in charge. You are the one in charge of your finances. Nobody else. No one else can tell you what you're supposed to do, or what you should be doing with your money. That is up to you. And so part of this work too is taking your power back and making those decisions yourself of where you want to be putting money. Now, like I said, I'm going to be going through this after this exercise and helping us get after this recording, helping us get clear, because our goals have changed a lot, so we went from really focusing on saving and investing to get our dream home to now we have our dream home and like it's empty, like we've got some of our very basic furniture, but we really want to we really need to get our other furniture to decorate it, to have art. You can see if you're watching the video, I've got some of my old paintings up in my office, but most of the house is empty. So that's, going to be one of them, about furniture that feels really good, that we're excited about. Like, we're kind of over the period in our life of getting the cheapest possible used furniture or IKEA furniture or whatever. Like, we've done that, we're getting older, we work hard, we're parents, so we're ready to like have stuff that we value, right? That's an investment. So that will be one, like thinking about some other things that could be coming up for us, investing for our child to be building wealth, right? There's some investing strategies you can do for your children to start building wealth. That's really part of the game in building generational wealth, right? Of applying those strategies, and the list goes on. Obviously we want to be growing and investing in immigrant finance so that we can help more people, building a team for that. That's going to be a big goal. And yeah, we'll see what will come out of the exercise. So let us know what came up for you. Comment below and share what ended up being your top 2 to 3 goals, so that we can celebrate you and share, and others can give you feedback. You will probably inspire some other people too if you share yours, to encourage them to do it also, and feel less alone if they've got similar ones, right? Or if they're not sure what there should be, can help each other out in the comments. So I hope this was a helpful episode. And if you liked learning more about this and the type of practical exercises we do in Immigrant Finance School to actually implement your goals and make them happen and start building wealth, go ahead and apply at immigrantfinanceschool.com. We would love to connect with you and see if it's a good fit. Take care.